Hello, welcome to Youth Live. So glad you could be with us tonight for week 7. Yes, we're 6, 7, 7. Yes, great job. Glad you could be here with us. Tonight, we're going to get into our game here in a second, but we just want to remind you that we miss all of you, and we are so glad that you are sticking with us and interacting with us during this time. And all of you that have said you are here, we are very glad you're here. And those that did not say you're here, we're also glad you're here too. Are y'all ready for our game? Yes, you are. Here we go. All right. Tonight, we're going to play this game where I'm going to put up a college class, and it's either real or it's fake. All right. So you just write real or fake. And some of these sound really ridiculous, but I just want to let you know I almost took a class because it sounded really easy. Called Aliens, UFOs, and Witches. That was a real class at UNA that I could have taken. So if you're surprised by some of these, they're pretty weird, just so you know. All right, here we go. First one is Board Gaming 101. Is that a real college class or is that fake? And that's at Temple University. Zach's not here, so we may need to wait on him to get here. I don't know. Oh, he is here. He just answered. Okay. Real or fake? Board Gaming 101. And all the colleges are real, by the way, so you're not deciding if the college is real. It's the class. All right? Matthew Drennan says it's fake. Van thinks it's real. Sarah thinks it's real. Susan thinks it's real. All right, so everybody except Matthew, oh, never mind, and Evan Freeman, they think it's fake. Bailey Broadfoot says it's real. Board Gaming 101. Is it real or fake? I mean, what would a test be like in there, you know? Think about that. Pretty interesting. Hey, Evan. All right, real or fake? Okay, Emma Herring says they have a class like this at her school and it is so easy. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. That's fake. That is not a real one. Sorry about it. All right. The next one is the science of Harry Potter. I don't know why, this is the 3rd week in a row Harry Potter has made an appearance. I don't know what's going on with that, but anyway. Is this a real or fake question? Or excuse me, class, it's a real question. All right, Sophie Spitzmiller says real. Caitlin King says real. Emma Herring says fake. Van says fake. Hannah says real. Kaylee Patterson says it's real. And I just want to remind you, I've never read a Harry Potter book. Just, again, want to clear that up. Never seen a movie of Harry Potter. Never read a book. Don't know if I'm missing out or what. And what exactly would be the science of Harry Potter? Like how to cast a spell? I don't know. I don't know what all they do on Harry Potter. How to cast a spell, how to play Quidditch. I know they play that. So, all right. Emily Dodson says it's real. Bailey Broadfoot says it's real. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. It's real. Good job. All right, on to our next class, The Amazing World of Bubbles. Is that real or fake? Emma, did you guys have a Harry Potter club? Is that what that was? What did y'all do in that club? Susan thinks The Amazing World of Bubbles is not a real class. Caitlin King thinks it's fake. Sarah Spitzmiller thinks it's real. Hannah Kirkham thinks it's real. Oh, Emma Herring wasn't in the club. Okay. I thought you were in it. That's why I was asking. Okay. Evan Friedman says it's fake. Think about taking a whole class on bubbles. They also had to take tests in the Harry Potter Club. Okay. All right. I would fail those, just so you know. The Amazing World of Bubbles. I mean, doesn't that just sound like an exciting class? Maybe you get to blow bubbles all day. I don't know. Probably not. All right. 3, 2, 1. It's real. So if you go to Caltech University, be sure to sign up for the Amazing World of Bubbles. All right, at Columbia Art School, is emoji design, is that a real class or a fake one? You let us know. Sophie thinks it's real. Emoji design. Mark Drennan says it's real. Van thinks it's fake. Emma Herring thinks it's a real one, though. Emoji design. Some of you would probably be pretty good at this. Kaylee Patterson thinks it's fake. Emily Dodson thinks it's fake. Columbia Art School. Do we have artists out there? Do we have people that can draw and paint and do other art things? All right. Caitlin Dean thinks it's real. Zach can draw, paint. What can he do? Zach can do all of it. All right. Zach, we want to see you draw or paint something or sculpt something all at one time. Like it all has to be done at the exact same time for it to count. We'll hang it up in the youth area if it's good. All right, 3, 2, 1. Emoji design is fake. That's not real. So if you go to Columbia Art School, don't ask to take that class because it's not there. You'll draw me. Oh, all right. I would love to see that, Zach. It better be nice. It better not be mean. Okay, getting dressed at Princeton University. Is this real or is it fake? A whole class on how to get dressed. Surely you don't need a class on how to get dressed. Pretty easy. Surely that wouldn't span over a whole semester. Come on now. Hannah Kirkham says it's fake. Mark Drennan says it's fake. Sarah Spitzmiller says it's real. Riley Patterson says it's real. I need a class, Sophie. Is that what you're saying? I need a class on how to get dressed? It's not very nice. I mean, anyway. All right. Yes, I do. Okay. Is this a real class? By the way, Princeton is like pretty, high up there in colleges. So if this is real, it's going to be very surprising because Princeton's kind of, you got to be really smart to go to Princeton. Hey, this is Aiden. Hey, Aiden. Evan Freeman thinks that's a real class. Katie Dean thinks it's real. All right, 3, 2, 1. That's a real class. You can learn how to get dressed at Princeton University. Here we go. Some people may could take this class. This is at Occidental College, I think is how you say that. And the class is stupidity. Is that real or fake? Is there really a class on stupidity? I'm not asking if there needs to be one. Is there one? A lot of people think fake so far. Aiden says it's fake, but Zach Messer says it's real. Caitlin King says it's fake. Evan Freeman says it's fake. Van thinks it's real. We got a lot of people writing out the words tonight. Is that like predicted text or something tonight? Or don't know. Just Emily Dodson thinks that's real. Bailey Broadfoot thinks it's real. Stupidity at good old Occidental College. Somebody find out where that's at. I want to know. Don't know. I probably should have looked it up, but good old Occidental College. By the way, if I were this guy in the picture, I would feel very insulted that they decided to use my picture to promote this. Just saying, I mean, he is making kind of a stupid face, but all right, 3, 2, and 1. It's real. Ooh, a lot of people got that one wrong. Yikes. Here we go. Some people might excel at this one. Tree climbing at Cornell University. Is that real or fake? Tree climbing. A whole class on how to climb a tree. Matthew and Mark think it's fake. Bailey Broadfoot said Los Angeles. Oh, about Occidental College. Nice. Anyway. Emma Herring thinks it's fake. Zach Messer thinks it's real. Sarah Spitzmiller thinks it's real. Hannah Kirkham thinks it's real. Tree climbing. By the way, if you watch The Office, there's somebody on there that always talks about how they go to Cornell University. So if you can tell me who that is, you're really cool. Oh goodness, Zach. Zach said I'm going to go out on a limb here. Man, wow. All right. Katie Dean thinks it's real. Kaylee Patterson thinks it's real. Bailey Broadfoot thinks it's real. Evan says it's real. Tree climbing. Maybe like the first day, you start at the bottom and you just talk about the philosophy of climbing the tree. And 1. It's real. You can really learn how to climb a tree at Cornell. Okay, now I'm just going to give you a warning about this next one. If you're a cat person, you may not like this next one. So just want to warn you. So get ready. It is cat dissection at Butler University. All right. Ooh, good job, Susan. It's Andy from The Office. That's who goes to Cornell. Good job. Cat dissection at Butler University. Is that real or is that fake? Okay. This is a whole class on cat dissection. Because you may dissect, like in biology or something, but the whole class is on cat dissection. Aiden Dearman says it's real. Susan says it's real. Caitlin King says it's fake. Hannah says it's real. Emma says it's real. I think it's kind of funny that the name of the class is cat dissection and the cat looks kind of scared. Okay, anyway, that's probably not okay. But He looks a little worried there. All right. Bailey Broadfoot says, real. All right. Katie Dean thinks it's fake. All right. Anybody else? Cat dissection. I'm trying to think of what all I've dissected. I think we did a jellyfish one time. A squid. Did a squid one time. Done many other things. I can't remember though. All right. 3, 2, 1. That's fake. So no, Mark Drennan. Butler University does not dissect cats. Sorry. All right. Learning from YouTube at Pitzer College. Is that real or fake? Learning from YouTube. Real or fake? Sophie says fake. Van thinks it's fake. Aiden Dearman thinks it's fake. Kaylee thinks it's real. Hannah Kirkham thinks it's real. Emily Dodson thinks it's real. Riley Patterson thinks it's real. But Katie Dean thinks it's fake. There would be a lot to learn for, like, what are you learning about YouTube? Because, I mean, we can learn anything on YouTube, you know, so. Also, where's Pitzer? I don't know where that's at if somebody wants to look that one up. Pitzer College. Don't know about that one. Evan thinks it's real. Learning from YouTube. What do you think? Has anybody ever looked up how to do something on YouTube? It's okay if you have. I have. I understand. You can find like how to do anything on there. So, all right, 3, 2, and 1. It's real. You really can learn how to learn from YouTube. You really can do that. All right, and our last one. Underwater basket weaving at Reed College. I don't know where Reed College is either. Underwater basket weaving at Reed College. Is that real or is that fake? Real or fake? Sophie Spitz-Miller thinks it's real. Mark Drennan thinks it's real. Matthew Drennan thinks it's real. Zach thinks it's fake. Caitlin thinks it's fake. Emma Herring thinks it's fake. Wouldn't it be hard to weave a basket on dry land, like not underwater? So I could only imagine how hard underwater basket weaving would be. All right, Van thinks it's real. Evan Freeman thinks it's real. Kelly Patterson thinks it's fake. And Bailey Broadfoot thinks it's fake. Underwater basket weaving, what do you think? Those guys in the picture look really happy to be in this class if it's real. Wish they could just be weaving a basket underwater, I don't know. But they look very pleased. They look very, you know. Katie Dean thinks it's real. All right, we're kind of divided on this one. This one's kind of evenly split. So let's find out who's right. 3, 2, and 1. It's a real one. Good job if you said real on that one. All right, thanks for playing as always. Hope you had a great time. We are going to move into the portion where we hear from God's Word. So if you will, grab a Bible at this time, get settled, grab a pen, something to take notes with, and let's hear from God's Word. Hello again. We're going to be in the book of James, chapter 5. We are almost done. We've got 2 more, I think. well, after tonight, 2 more times in the book of James. And we hope that you have been learning very well. We hope that the book of James has been speaking to you. It's always a great book to dive into. It covers a lot of different topics, so that's why I like going through it. But we really hope that you've gotten something out of going through James. Whether it's just one thing, it might be several things. But however, we're going to be in chapter 5 tonight, and this is the last chapter of James. So we are almost there. Verse 1 says this: "Come now, you rich, weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you." So just want to stop right there. So this chapter kind of opens up kind of negative, I guess, not happy. I'll just say it that way, because he says, "Come now." He says, "Weep and howl for miseries that are coming upon you." And you know, we've talked about this before, that there are several attributes about God, like God is good, God is generous, God is kind, God is patient, He's merciful, He's great. Like He's all of those things. He is. But another one of God's attributes that kind of gets overlooked sometimes is that God is a judge. Like He has the role of judge in our lives. One day, God is going to judge every single person that has ever lived and will ever live. And you know, you may be thinking, well, that's kind of harsh. Like, why would He do that? But something we got to kind of get about God is that He has the right to do that. He's allowed that privilege because He created us, because He's the reason we're here. He's the one that gave you eternal life, the chance at eternal life. He's the one that has blessed us and given us way more than we deserve. So God is a judge, and He has the right to be, and He will judge one day. And you know, that term gets tossed around a lot today, like, you know, don't judge, don't be judgy, they're too judgmental. That gets tossed around a lot, and I think it kind of gets mishandled. So don't associate if that's your definition of judgment and judging and a judge, don't associate that with God, because with God, you know, yes, He's going to judge the sins of those that don't know Him, but if you're a Christian, if you're somebody that does know Him, then it's good news, because you know, He's not going to judge you based on your performance down here. He's going to judge you based on the fact that you trusted in Jesus. And if you haven't done that, if you've never trusted in Him and you've never said, you know, Jesus, I want to follow you, and I trust in you to guide me through this life, and Lord, I want to grow in my walk with you, well then that's something that you need to take care of. It's something you need to try to talk with somebody about. You can always talk to me, obviously, about it. You can talk to any of our other students in the ministry, or any leaders or pastors or whoever. But talk to somebody about that. But God is a judge, okay? And God sometimes has to, you know, He has to be a judge in a way that He punishes, that He corrects, He kind of reconciles. He makes things right again. And as judge, God has that right to do that. And so He says, verse 1 again, He says, "Come now," and look at who He's talking to. He says, the rich. He says, "Come now, you rich, weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you." So there's this there's this kind of theme with rich people in the Bible, that when Jesus, you know, was walking on earth, he talked to a few different people that were rich, and you know, He tells them, He says that you know, it would be easy. It's easier for a camel to go through the needle of an eye, and that just means like the little point on a needle, the tip of the needle. It would be easier for a camel to go through that than it would be a rich person to get into heaven. Obviously, a camel cannot go through the eye of a needle. It's pretty impossible. And so He says that, you know, it's almost impossible for a rich person to get to heaven. And that's not to. A lot of people hear that and they think, well, man, so God just doesn't love somebody because they're rich. Like, that's not really a good reason to just not love somebody. But there's more to it than that. It's just we see the rich as it's hard to reach the rich is basically what God is or what Jesus was kind of implying there. And let's look at why the rich. Why is he talking to the rich? So verse 2 says this. It says, your riches have rotted, your garments are moth-eaten, your gold and silver have corroded, and their corrosion will be evidence against you and eat your flesh like fire. You have laid up treasure in the last days. Behold, the wages of the laborers who moved your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you. Excuse me. And the cries of and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. You have lived on the earth in luxury and in self-indulgence. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered the righteous person. He does not resist you. So this is a pretty harsh charge against these rich people, because he's saying that they condemned, they've murdered, they've committed fraud against other people. They've kind of done wrong against other people based on their money. Like they've kind of cheated people. They've lied to people based on money. Like they've done some pretty not great things against people because of money. And today that happens. We see people that because of money, they stop talking to people. In really bad cases, there's been cases where people are killed over money. And so money has this just kind of weight with it that some people will do anything for money. Some people will do anything, to get money. Some of you would probably do some pretty ridiculous things for like $100. I'm trying to think. I know in high school I did some things, just some stupid things, like ate crazy things or went and did something stupid, or just whatever. Just because somebody was like, hey, I'll give you $20 or I'll give you $50 if you do this. I will not do that now, so don't try me on that now. That's old Corey. He won't do that anymore. But some people will do anything for money, and that's James is saying that these guys have. Again, they've condemned, they've murdered, and that doesn't necessarily mean, by the way, when he says murdered, that doesn't mean that they literally went out and killed somebody. Now it may have over money, but most likely it means that like they didn't help out some people who really needed help, like maybe somebody really needed some food, and like legitimately needed food, and they knew it, and they didn't help them out. They didn't give somebody maybe shelter or clothes that really needed it, and eventually because of that person passed away. So because of their keeping back, they murdered in a way. And so he mentions that they're doing all these things, and they've kind of stacked up a list here, and this is what God is going to judge, is because their attitudes about the things that they have, these material things, these riches, has changed the way that they treated people, has changed how they view life. And if you look at going back to verse 5, he says, not verse 5. At the end of verse 3, he says, you have laid up treasure in the last days. He had said your gold and your silver was corrupted, stuff had gotten, eaten away by moths, all these things. But that little phrase at the end, he said, you stacked up treasure in the last day, or you stacked up treasure on earth. And then he goes on to say, you filled your hearts in indulgence in a day of slaughter. So these guys, they were really keen on stacking things up, on like hoarding things, on like keeping stuff back for themselves and not sharing and not giving. And they had the ability, like they had enough to where they could have. But he's saying, man, you stacked up treasure here on earth. You stacked up things here on this planet. And it's like we've been talking about the past couple of weeks, sort of, kind of some of the same things that some things are not going to matter once we die. We talked about how the grades you make, that's not going to matter after you die. The college degree you have, that's not going to matter after you die. Whether you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, it's not going to matter when you die. We mentioned all these things, and I want to say this again. Those things are not bad things. Like, make good grades, have a boyfriend, girlfriend, get a job. Like, all those things are great. Like, enjoy those things, have those things. But it's when they take the place of God. That's what we've been saying. That's when they become a problem. And so he's saying that they've stacked up treasures here on earth. They've worried about things here on this earth and completely forgotten, that God put them here and that God has He has a purpose for why they have these things. And so I want to ask you, are you busy right now stacking up things on earth? Listen, maybe you've been going through life and, you've kind of got it stacked up good so far. You've made all A's at this point. You've played sports and you're pretty good at those sports, or, you're musically gifted and you're pretty good at that. Maybe you've got, good home life. Maybe you're looking at getting a scholarship to a college and like it's looking pretty possible that's going to happen. Maybe you got all the stuff stacked up. And again, not bad things. But if that's all you have and you don't have that relationship with Jesus, well then all the other stuff's not getting, again, that stuff is not going to matter one day. But that's what the rich people were doing here. They were stacking up stuff that is not going to matter one day. So what are you stacking up right now? See, what is going to matter is what you do with Jesus. What is going to matter is how you live according to His Word, to His standards. And, obviously we want to take as many people with us to heaven as we can. So, you might have collected a lot of things down here on this earth, but how many people are you discipling? How many people are you telling about Jesus? That may be something to kind of think about, because I believe we're going to have to give an account one day of how many people we told about Jesus or how many people we discipled. And I would hate to get up there and be empty-handed and say, man, I didn't tell anybody, I didn't do anything. You put me in this classroom, you put me in this section of the band, you put me on this team, you put me in this specific school for a reason, for me to tell them about you, and I don't have anything to show for it. I would not want to get to that point. So what are you stacking up down here? Are you stacking up things of the world, or are you stacking up things that are going to matter one day? A really big temptation while we're reading all this, since we're talking about the rich, like in your Bible, like in my Bible, it says at the top of chapter 5, it says warning to the rich. So I don't know, that may be what it says in your Bible. It may say something about the rich or about people that stack up things or store up things. So a really common thing that people do when it talks about the rich, especially us in America, we may sit here and we may say, well, I'm not rich, I'm not a billionaire, I'm not a millionaire, I'm not a movie star or a singer, I don't have a lot of money, so he's not talking to me. But the thing you got to think of is what does he mean by rich? Now, he is kind of talking to more people that are living kind of the higher lifestyles, that are living the richer that we would think of. But at the same time, in a way, we are rich, okay? Like in America, we've got it very good. Like if you travel to other countries, you'll see that, especially third world countries. I can remember coming back. I got to go to Belize, Central America 3 times while I was in high school, 3 different years. And every time I would come back, I would be so thankful for things that I never thought I'd be thankful for, like a paved road, a car that got me from one point to the other, a lawnmower that was a good lawnmower, rakes, like good rakes to rake the leaves. Just stuff I never would have thought of. And that's because, man, like we in America, we've got it very good. We can basically, if we want to, go get anything. Like there's nothing that we can't get for the most part, like that we don't have access to. Now, we may not have the money to get it necessarily, But if we wanted to and we could afford it, we could go get it. Whereas in other places, it is completely out of the question. Like there's no way possible. Or they don't even know about it most of the time. They don't even know that stuff exists. And so I read this the other day that most of the world, I think there might have been a percentage, but I can't remember what it is. Most of the world lives on less than $10 a day. Now, obviously, that's not counting America, because we spend a lot more than $10 a day, but most of the world lives on less than $10 a day. So you think about it, we are rich, and we in America, we obviously have a really bad habit of putting all of our faith in possessions and in material things. We got to have the latest and the greatest, and we've got to have this, we've got to have that. Like we got to have the new iPhone, we got to have new AirPods. When the new shoes come out, we got to get those. If it's not a name brand shirt, then I'm not going to wear it. We have a really bad tendency to do those things, and I struggle with this as well. Okay, I'm not pointing the finger. I struggle with this, but we've got to make sure that material items are not taking over our life. Again, this is kind of weighing into that that idea that the things that you put all your faith in, are they temporary, or are they, could they have eternal significance? If you look back, verse 2, he had said, your riches have rotted, and your garments are moth-eaten, your gold and silver have corroded, and their corrosion will be evidence against you and will eat your flesh like fire. So he's saying that everything that we own, this is really encouraging right here, but everything that we own is going to fade away. It's gonna pass away. Like every piece of clothing you have right now, and you've learned this as you've gotten older. Like you obviously don't wear the clothes that you used to. You sold them or donated them or whatever, or passed them on to a younger sibling or something, and you've got other stuff. So like all the really cool clothes you think you have right now, or cool shoes or whatever, like you're gonna move on to other ones one day. And so we put all of our stock and we put all of our happiness and that in these material things. Like you got a brand new phone right now, maybe one day you're gonna have to get another one because that one's gonna that one won't work anymore and you'll have to go to another one. You're driving a vehicle right now, maybe it's a nice vehicle, but one day you're gonna have to get another vehicle. Like that vehicle's not gonna last you the rest of your life. You're gonna move on to something else. And so see, like we again, that shows us a picture that even the stuff we have down here, while it's not necessarily bad stuff, it doesn't stay with us. We have to move on. We pass those things. And there may be some of you guys out there right now that you don't really struggle with this. Like you understand you're blessed, you understand you're fortunate to have the stuff that you have, and that your parents work and can afford to give you things like that and to help you with stuff like that. And that's cool. Like that's really good. But maybe you are out there and you're thinking, man, I kind of do like to just stack up all these material things. And again, I've been there. Okay, when I was 16 years old, I started working. Like I had to work all through high school, and like to be a 16, 17, 18-year-old living at home with no bills, I would work 35, 40 hours a week. That adds up pretty good. Like that's a pretty good paycheck. And so I could basically just buy and spend whatever I wanted to. And so we've got to be very careful that we don't get in our mind this idea that money makes me happy, or that these material things will make me happy. Because like I said, maybe you're a 7th and 8th grader right now. You're probably not really thinking about money that much, but one day you will. One day you're gonna think about how you spend your money and where. And you're going to say, well, I can buy this because I've got the money to do it. But there's the temptation. Do the material items own you? Okay? Are you a slave to these material things? Because the rich people James is talking about, they are. Like they are under submission to the material things. And they don't share, and they don't help people out with the money that God has blessed them with. So, kind of wrapping this up, what I just want to, again, challenge you with is that while we are tempted to invest in temporary things, we've got to remember that it's going to pass away one day. That's the story of a lot of the things down here on this earth, is that all the stuff we own, all the stuff we have, it is not going to last. It's not going to stay with us. We don't get to take our phones and our shoes and, your jewelry and all these things. We don't get to take that stuff to heaven with us. And so, do those things possess you? Do those things own you? Do they have ownership over you? This may be a time where you really need to think about that, because you may not realize it, but when you do some really, some deep soul searching, maybe you'll realize it then. And so just remember that the temporary things, they only bring temporary happiness. You got the car right now, and maybe you're really glad. Maybe you got the new phone and you're really glad. But remember, those things are not meant to satisfy us. And our riches and the things that God are the riches that we have down here that the world gives us do not compare to the real riches that are coming later, which is God, which is Jesus. When we get to be with Him in heaven, that's where the real riches start. Okay? So just remember that real riches, real treasures, that is only found in Jesus, and these material things can't do it. If you're a Christian, you are rich in Jesus Christ because you have Him, and that's the ultimate thing that we could be rich in. Let's pray. God, thank you so much just for these students, and Lord, I pray that as we look at this idea of money, and while this may not be a big deal for some of us right now, Lord, I pray that as these students get older, that they will realize that money is a big thing, that money is an important thing, and how we spend it and how we view it and how we use it, God, is going to say a lot about our Christian walk. Father, I pray that you just protect our students against this temptation. Help us to know, God, that the things that this world has to offer, the things that department stores and electronic stores and shoe stores have to offer us, God, they don't satisfy us like you do, and that you are the ultimate thing that is rich. I thank you for this, and we ask it in your name. Amen. All right, we're back. Thanks for being with us tonight. We have to announce who won the emoji worship song from last week. And we actually had a first on Youth Live. We had 2 people get it exactly right at the exact same time. And those 2 people were Zach Messer and Caitlin King. Wow, good job. So what we're going to do for you too, you may not like this, but that's okay. We're just going to split. We're going to give you 25 apiece, 25 points apiece. All right? So that way we can settle it. You guys don't have to have a boxing match or anything, even though that may be interesting to watch. But that's how we're going to settle it. So good job. Now the one for next week is about to come up right now. All right? What worship song does those emojis represent? Yeah. Take it in. Get a good look at it. You can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it. You can smell it. Okay, that's a little strange. Take a picture if you need to. Or remember, you can always go back. Okay, Caitlin King is okay with us splitting points. I hope Zach is. Because even if he's not, that's what we're doing anyway. So, all right, 3, 2, 1. Thanks again for being with us tonight. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, JWBC Youth. Remember that we have house church Sunday mornings. That'll be up on our Jackson Way News. We also have a Jackson Way News Instagram. Please follow that if you have not already. And remember, we're still keeping this rolling for as long as we need to. So be sure to tell people if you took notes tonight, take a picture, put on your story, post it, tag us, let us know that you were with us. I believe that's it. So thank you for being with us again. Let me know if you need us, if there's anything we can pray for you about, and we will see you next week.